Okay, good morning, class. Today, we're going to go over properties of exponents. There are several properties, and depending on who your math teacher was, you may have been exposed to this concept in Algebra 1, or you might be new to it in Algebra 2. In any case, let's begin. Okay, so one of the properties of exponents is products of powers. So a to the x times a to the y equals a to the x plus y. What this basically means is a is just some base, some number raised to some exponent times the same base raised to a different exponent. When you have a case like that, you simply add the exponents. And as an example, here, let's say the base is 2. So 2 squared times 2 cubed. Same base, but being raised to different exponents. So 2 to the 2 times 2 to the 3 is basically 2 to the 2 plus 3, or 2 to the 5th. And 2 to the 5th is 32. Okay? Now, let's look at the next property, which is the power of a power. Let's say you have some base being raised to some exponent, and the whole thing is being raised to another exponent. In a case like this, you would multiply the exponents. So as an example, let's say you have the base of 2 being raised to 2, and the whole thing is being raised to 3. In this case, it will be 2 to the 2 times 3, or 2 to the 6th, which is 64. Notice here, whenever they're multiplied like this, you add the exponents. But if the whole thing is being raised to another exponent, you multiply the exponents, and this gives you your answer here. Okay? Let's move on. The power of a product. Let's say you have some base times another base, and the whole thing is being raised to some exponent. All you do is distribute the exponent to everything here. So it's going to be a to the exponent times b to the exponent. And for an example, let's say you have a base of 2 times a base of 3, and the whole thing is being raised to an exponent of 2. Well, that's just distributing the 2. Here you'll have 2 squared times 3 squared, which is just 4 times 9, or just 36, which makes sense because 2 times 3 is 6, and 6 squared is 36. Okay? Now, let's continue on. Negative exponents. Now, you may see a negative exponent in the numerator or in the denominator. If you see a negative exponent in the numerator, to make it positive, we just place 1 over it. It's 1 over a to that particular exponent. For an example, let's say we have 2 raised to the negative 2. Well, to make it positive, it'll be just 1 over 2 squared, which is just 1 to the 4th. Now, in the case of a negative exponent in the denominator, 1 over a to that negative exponent, we simply move the exponent to the numerator, and it becomes positive. So as an example, if we have 1 over, say, 2 to the negative 2, we just bring it up to the numerator. It's going to be 2 to the positive 2, 2 squared, which simply equals 4. Okay? Let's move on to the next property, which is zero exponents. Now, anything to a zero exponent is equal to 1. So whatever the base is, if it's to a zero exponent, it's 1. So if it was 2 to the 0, that's 1. If it was 9,876,543 to the 0, that's 1. Whatever number, whatever base it is, if it's to a zero exponent, it simply equals 1. Let's move on. We have quotient of powers. So let's say we have a base raised to an exponent divided by the same base raised to a different exponent. In that case, you simply subtract the exponent in the denominator from the exponent in the numerator. So a to the x over a to the y is simply a to the x minus y. For an example, let's say we have the base of 2 being raised to the 5th power, and then the same base of 2 being raised to the 2nd power. We're dividing here. We would simply subtract the exponent. So this will simply be 2 to the 5 minus 2, and 5 minus 2 is 3, so it will be 2 cubed, which is 8. And that would make sense because 2 to the 5th is 32, and 2 squared is 4. 32 divided by 4 is 8. Okay, let's move on. Power of a quotient. Let's say you have some base and a different base. It's dividing each other, and they're being raised to some exponent. Well, that basically works is you're distributing the exponent to both, so that would be x to the z over y to the z. As an example, let's say our x is 6, our y is 3, and they're both being raised to the exponent of 2. So we're distributing the 2 to both the numerator and denominator. So that would be 6 squared divided by 3 squared. And then if we expand that, 6 squared is 36. 3 squared is 9. 36 divided by 9 is 4, which makes sense because 6 over 3 is just 2, and 2 squared is 4. Okay, so that's just a brief synopsis on the power of exponents. You are going to see this again. So watch this video again if you need to. Make sure that you completely understand powers of exponents. Okay, talk with you in the next video.